Hi guys, it's Blackie. Okay, I would like to answer a question from one of my subscribers that we were talking about the Nighthawk rucksack that I produced. And it was, he really likes it. He enjoys it for camping, but he's concerned about it. He can overload it because he likes to go on longer trips and he wants to put more weight into it than I originally designed it. I designed it to be a 3-day, but I designed it to be adaptable. Okay. And so when I asked him, how much and how long is he wanting to carry? And he said, well, I like to go on like 10 to 14 day hikes and I want to use it. It can be done, but you need to spread it out a little bit better. And he said, have you ever thought about building an internal frame for it? I said, I designed the Nighthawk to fit onto a standard Alice frame. Now we're going to look at this closer in a minute, but it's designed to hook to an Alice frame. So you can hook a frame to it to have the web belt, the weight belt, all of that on there. And coming in the near future, I'm in talks right now, and we're in the prototype phase right now, of 2 sustainment pouches to go onto the outside of the Nighthawk so you can have bigger gear capacity, and possibly a lower bag to hook onto the bottom of it so you can turn it into like a 45 liter or maybe even a 65 liter backpack with an Alice frame, see. So you could scale it up. When I was designing this bag, my mindset was I wanted a bag that was able to adapt to the seasons and adapt to the needs. So in the height of the summer, I wanted to be able to carry very little in it and it not be a burden. I wanted it to be able to roll up tight, be tight to the body, and carry and have just what I need for an overnight if that's what I wanted, and not be this huge monstrosity floppy bag. At the same time, I wanted that bag to where if I took everything out of it in a true survival situation where I've got out here and things have gone sideways, I wanted the bag to function in multiple levels. For one thing, I wanted to be able to turn it into a leaf tick. I want to be able to take my stuff out of it, pull my setting pad out, stuff the bag full of leaves and debris, roll it down and cinch it up, fold the straps out of the way, and lay on it with the sitting pad put down under my legs, folded up in a fetal position, and my body up on it beside of a fire under a lean-to or something for a winter insulator, a leaf tick to get me up off the deck. I also wanted it to be able to necessarily lay into a hammock. That way I could take everything out of it and just use it as a pad inside the hammock, taking the straps off, of course. I wanted it to be able to be a water carrier in emergency. All these things I put into the design because I wanted it to function. Now, let me show you it attached to the Alice pack up close. Okay, I chose the Alice pack frame because they're everywhere, they're available, and they're really on the surplus market kind of a cheaper frame to get. Okay, and a lot of you may already have an Alice pack that you could adapt over. It's the same reason I chose the Alice pack straps to go onto it, because everybody's different. There's at least 5 different types of Alice pack straps. I like the short straps like you see here, but other people may like the long straps, especially you guys are a little bit bigger girth, may like the long straps better. So I wanted it to be functional, and I wanted it to be easily adjustable. And the Alice pack frame, I ain't never had a problem with the frame, I just had a problem with the pack. So here it is sitting on the Alice pack frame. The wings that come out on the side hook exactly to the right place on the Alice pack so that you can put it onto it. Let me give you a close-up of that. Let me talk about them wings a second. Okay, these wings are where you can hook your straps to. At the same time, they come forward to line up with the hole in an Alice pack frame so that your shoulder strap goes through that hole and anchors it and secures the bottom of the Nighthawk to the frame, secure. At the same time, the 2 double D-rings that the straps hook to are lined up with the strap grommets on the Alice pack frame. Now, I know some of you are going to be looking at that, Blackie, where'd you get that? I will put a link right up here to my Ground Pounder series where I showed modifications to an Alice pack, and I'll show how to put this carry handle onto here. But all I did was pull my Alice pack frame off and put onto my Nighthawk right quick. So it lines up perfect. So it's solid anchor at the top and then solid anchor at the bottom. That's all you got to know. Now with this, you can have the hip belt. If I have to load this pack up, because we're going to do a 10-day and I can get enough in there to do it, I can be able to carry it on my body. The weight belt, the hip pad, we just always called it a weight belt back in my day, guys. But the weight belt right there, where the buckle come around and take the weight onto my hips instead of my shoulders, so I can alternate between my shoulders and my hip when carrying a heavy load, exactly like the Alice pack was designed to do. I didn't like the Alice because it comes too far back and it center of balance gets behind me, whereas the Nighthawk is designed to be a couple of inches shorter and therefore be at the maximum balance point. I incorporated that into the design intentionally. And so you've got a pack that you can carry with the internal pad and just the shoulder straps as a soft pack like you did with an Alice. But you can also put the frame onto it and have your hip belt, your adjustable shoulder straps, and a rigid frame should you want. Now, let me talk about those additional pouches. My favorite pack, other than mine, is the German Alpine pack. I've said that in many videos, and I've probably got 5 of these things. I love them. These external pockets that are out here on the side are perfect for the quick grabs and etc. What I'm working with Jay to develop right now is a similar idea, except this pouch, or this type of pouch, will go here on the side. Remember I had all these loops put on here for that reason, so I could tie gear onto it? We want to be able to take in a sustainment pouch and put on this side and have the pouch be the same for left or right. So I could buy 1 or 2, okay? Also want it to be where it can come off and hook to the belt to be a gathering bag or whatever. But it would go on here. This will make it more like a Alpine and have these 2 side pouches coming out the side for quick grabs. And it'll be made out of the same material as the Nighthawk. And it'll also be that whenever I'm done with it, because let's say like this gentleman was talking about doing like a 10 or 14 day trip. As those packs run empty, because he'll put food in the 2 outside pouches, as they start running empty, he can just simply take it off, combine, and roll them up and make a fist-size hunk, put in the bottom of the pack, and it is less cumbersome. It can take on or off as needed. See? So it would go right here, or on the front, or on the far side. So I could have technically 3 sustainment pouches. Remember how an Alice pack has 3 pouches? Like he was thinking. Now, on the bottom, you have this series of loops right here. This means that I could take something bulky like a sleeping bag inside of a compression bag and be able to lash it or quick bushcraft zip tie it right here. There's multiple anchor points right here, so I could hook it to the bottom. We may be developed, we're going to talk about it, I don't know. Because to me it just makes sense, just take the compression bag and hook to it. But having some sort of bag that would go there and have like a zipper for a sleeping bag, see? So that in the winter when I need bulk, I'm not toting more weight, but I'm toting more bulk because I'm toting that big fluffy, you know, poncho liner, excuse me, that big fluffy long underwear and that big fluffy jacket. And I have to have a bigger, fluffier sleeping bag. I need more bulk. Where my gear is basically the same except for the bulky winter clothing and sleeping accommodations. I wanted the Nighthawk to be able to adapt to that. And so those are on the horizon. We're in the early prototype stages. Once I get that going, I will bring it to you. Along the same line, I'm working with Made Ready Gear, my good friend Trinity, and we're developing a series of accessory pouches to go onto the Blackbird. So there will be a bag that goes onto the strap. And those of you that were at the Pathfinder gathering just a week or so ago got a little insider quick view, because we're developing things for kind of co-marketing back and forth. Okay, the internal pad that goes inside the back, just like it does on the German Alpine, Trinity has developed the sitting pad that goes inside, but it's more than a sitting pad. It's Condura, and it's so that when you open up and you pull it out, it is a waterproof sitting pad. You can sit down. It also will be where you can run a cord through it, pull the padding out of it, and turn it into a day bag, so that I can use it as a gathering bag, an emergency water carrier, as a small pack to gather bulk gear or whatever, as well as being a sitting pad, etc. Something to be easy out and multifunctional. You know me, I gotta have multitask. So that pad will perfectly slide into the back of a Nighthawk and give you the soft frame effect. If you want a hard frame, an Alice Pack frame works onto it. This system I've come up with of where I want my haversack, I can add a tarp to the bottom of it and then take a blanket and roll it up and put it around the strap against my back. And I will try to put a link to that video I did months and months ago right up here. That shows you how I can make the Blackbird do an overnight camp out in good weather. Okay. For the Nighthawk, I want it to be able to expand out and be just like an Alice. For those of you that love Alice packs, I want it to have the 3 pockets. Notice the 3 sets of attachment loops where I can lash gear. I can put sustainment pouches out there and have additional capacity for those long hikes, and yet not be permanently attached where it's floppy nothing when I'm not using it. I want it to be a modular system that I can adjust on the fly. With the underneath, I can take one I've already got made up, sleeping bag in a compression sack, and put it on there. Hook it up real easy. Or rolled up blanket or something like that. I also wanted it to be able to have the pull-out sitting pad where I could pull it out and have a dry place to sit. And with this thing that we've developed with Trinity, it's a multi-bag of its own. And those of you that were at the Pathfinder gathering, several of you bought them. We sold out all the prototypes we had real quick, and the bags that's going to be coming for the haversack, the final field test is coming to me now. It's en route to me right now. So I'm going to get to try these out. And once all the little things are worked out, I'll tell you about them. But so, to answer the question to the gentleman that was saying about the through hike, yes, there is already existing a full frame for the Nighthawk. It's readily available and it's cheap. Another thing about those wings down there that I hooked, for the men in the party. Not no boy sizes, the men. I attach my shoulder straps to the very bottom loop down there. This wing right here is for those, the men's size has got a little bit more girth, where you don't want that strap digging into you right here. It allows it to shift from this to this and take the load directly out. So for those full-size guys, you hook the strap to that wing sticking out there, your shoulder strap, and that pulls it out away from you so it doesn't dig into your ribs back here. I have had, even my size, I have had backpacks that would dig into me on my ribs back there because it was actually a little too narrow for where it attached to the pack. So when it brought the straps back in, it was constantly digging into my ribs. I didn't want that for you. I wanted it to be able to flare out. At the same time, the kind of narrower guys, they don't want it to flare out like that because it makes the bottom of the pack want to do this on them. I wanted them to be able to attach it square. So that's the reason there's multiple attachments. I can take the shoulder straps, again, whichever one you want. The long ones or the short ones or the H pattern or the Special Forces pattern. There's like 5 different types. These were simply the $14 ones I got from Walmart.com. Just put in Alice Pack straps. They work perfectly fine. And all of them will attach to the Nighthawk. I wanted a modular system. I wanted something that I could give to you guys that is what I wanted. I wanted a modular system that I could adapt to the seasons so that if I had just the sitting pad in it, it was a soft frame. It padded my back, and it was when I got to camp I could easily pull it out, have a sitting pad. With this sitting pad that Trinity's developed, that becomes multifunction as well. See? So now I've got something that I could stuff with leaves, have the pad itself, the line insert pad, and still have the body of the Nighthawk to make a sort of put together leaf tick on the ground in an emergency situation. So when I put my tarp up, I'm ground pounding, I've got a sleeping pad made out of my Nighthawk, part, the actual insert of the sleeping pad, and the sitting pad bag filled up and used as a leaf tick. That should give me about a 6-foot long pad, and I should be able to curl up on that pretty easy in an emergency. I will be doing videos to show all of this down the line once we work out the kinks, but this is giving you kind of an answer to the question and a peek behind the curtain that yes, there are more things coming for the Nighthawk, so that you guys got the maximum choice. You don't have to buy them unless you want them, but I want you to have that option if it's what you really want. Hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. If you have, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button before you go. I'd really appreciate it. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.